Mark Clements with NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, here to bring you the Baton Rouge preseason area volleyball rankings. Looking at the teams in Baton Rouge, there's a lot of talent, a lot of teams that can kind of, these top 5 rankings are going to fluctuate a lot throughout the year. But to start, preliminarily, you got to put St. Joe's #1 in the area. Red Stickers are coming off a Division I state title win again against Mount Carmel. A big game there. They bring back a lot of talent from that team, namely Madison Daigle, who you could argue was, right up there with MVP of the state tournament last year. She's going to be our preseason player of the year for large schools this year. Coach Stevie Miller was our coach of the year last year. She's back, and again, like I said, a lot of talent. Catherine Young, Sydney Davis, Hannah Rivera. This is going to be a stacked team again. Could very well contend to be one of those teams who starts #1, finishes #1, top of Baton Rouge all year long. #2, we have U High, led by Lindsay Flory. She won our small school player of the year last year and is our preseason player of the year this year for small schools. She kind of, can do it all for them, a setter, outside hitter, does a little bit of everything, got a lot of scholarship offers, got to kind of take that and wait till the fall to make her announcement and everything. But she kind of anchors that team along with Mary Grace Constantine, who's on our all-area team preseason this year. They went undefeated through district last year, and wouldn't be surprised to see them do the same thing this year. A really talented team. They made it to the semis last year. I know Lindsay in particular and the rest of the senior class would like to get a little farther than that this year. Really talented team. Wouldn't be surprised if they made a deep push into the playoffs. #3 is Lutcher. Jeriel Thoreau is going to be one of the best, already is one of the best players in the area and the state. She's an LSU commit already, entering her junior year. Coach Ricky LeBlanc was really seemed to like this team. He kept, when I talked to him a couple weeks ago, kept saying how much he likes this group of girls. Not a very big group, only about 15 or so on the team, but the work ethic and the attitude seems to be right. A lot of teams do key on Jeriel as they kind of turn to Janiah Taylor, another middle blocker, middle hitter who had a big year last year as a freshman. She's entering her sophomore season. Hoping for even bigger things. Kind of the 1-2 punch of Jeriel and Janiah is going to be pretty lethal for them. Their biggest hump is getting past those 2 Edie White games in district. They lost both of them last year, but they definitely had their eye on those games this year. Those are going to be fun to watch. They also reached the semis last year. Again, Coach LeBlanc really hyped on this team, and he said, state championship is the goal. I mean, it's the goal every year, but it's a realistic goal this year, and they could definitely see themselves making it all the way. These last couple spots, #3, 4, and 5, and even the teams that didn't really make the top 5, a lot of fluctuation there. A lot of teams that could, will inevitably reach the top 5 at some point. You can kind of argue these next couple spots can go either direction. We decided to go with Santa Maria at #4. A lot of talent there coming back. They went undefeated through their district last year. They bring back Caroline Grimion. She's a 3, maybe 4 sport athlete over there, kind of, can do it all. Ali Dupleshin, Courtney Grimion. They had a nice run in the playoffs as well, ended up losing to St. Joe's, the eventual state champ, so not much to scoff at there. And, if they get hot at the right time of the year, they could definitely jump up to, one of those top 2 spots in the area, and I think they can compete with just about any team in the area as well. And #5 was probably the hardest one to pick to kind of, there's a lot of teams that you could argue could fit in that #5 spot. We went with Dunham. The talent level, a really young team last year, and they bring back a lot of that talent this year, namely Anna Catherine Paget, who was the district MVP as a freshman last year. She's in her sophomore year. Coach Pixley described her as a stud, which I can't really argue with. Coach Pixley's taken over this team again after 1 year, really successful year for Gina Gill. She's going to go back and pursue her master's degree, turning the reins back over to Coach Pixley, who was previously the coach before Gill took over. Coach Pixley has coached these girls through club volleyball, coached them in their younger, the older girls whenever she was a coach previously when they were younger at Dunham. So she's familiar with it. It wasn't a tough transition, similar systems and everything like that. So it shouldn't be any sort of a new coach hangover, so to speak. They went to the quarterfinals last year. Again, like most teams, bigger goals this year, and they really feel like they can kind of do something special with this group of girls they have. Some of those teams who didn't quite make the cut but were right there, East Ascension, They had a trio of girls who made our preseason all-area team. Claire Weinberger, Emily Venable, and Jessie Watts. All three girls really talented. Coach Jamie Gilmore over there was really happy with the group she has and thinks they can do some special things this year. Parkview Baptist, Macy Stock, and Christy Deary were both on our all-area teams. They're going to be a team that's at some point going to jump into the top 5 just with the ebb and flow of how the scheduling goes. St. Michael, Central, St. John, a lot of really talented teams in the area who you could definitely see jump into the top 5 at some point this year. Likely will, just based off when teams get hot, when teams get cold, how the schedules work out, those kind of things. But for now, St. Joe's number 1, U High number 2, Luttrell number 3, Sandoval 4, and Dunham 5. We'll keep y'all up to date with those rankings every week as the season progresses up until playoff time on NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune.